we were able to reuse facilities and transfer it for community redevelopment. We stimulated property transfers for jobs. We tried to accelerate and coordinate our cleanup efforts. We established space transition coordinators and consolidated our economic development assistance throughout the government. But behind this effort was clearly the idea that the community, to rely on the community's plan, a viable plan for reuse. This was the basis of our new effort towards redevelopment of bases. We've done other things to improve the process, to speed things along as best we can, in what can often be still a cumbersome and difficult process. But we can remove some obstacles, we can change some laws, we can improve some regulations and processes, and we can do better consultation and coordination with the local community. But that doesn't change the fact that we can have a challenge here, a challenge of reuse and redevelopment, a challenge to come up with a viable plan that works for the facility, for the community, taking into considerations any limitations we have, the environmental concerns, the investment that is needed, the historical concerns that we need to keep in mind. No, it's not an easy process. Yes, it is a challenge. And I commend the community for coming together and taking on that challenge. I applaud you for tapping into expertise such as Massachusetts Land Bank. And want to let you know that we are truly here to help you do it, because we can't do it, the Army can't do it. You need to do it yourselves, and we are there to assist you in every way we can. Secretary Perry, when speaking about base closure and base reuse, is fond of quoting British author Graham Greene. And he says there's a time comes when the door is open and opportunity is allowed in. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag may be coming down today, but the door of opportunity remains open. I wish you all the luck in the future, and I very much look forward to working with you as we reuse and redevelop this fine facility. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Watertown Town Council President, Mr. Richard Mastrangelo.
Thank you very much. One of the problems with going last is that one by one a speaker takes one of the lines you had and throws it out. But Mark, I think I have a fair amount of affinity for the job you have, and a great deal of congratulations for the way in which it's being done. In 1973, it was my job to call the commanding officers to Washington and tell them to go and tell the mayors and the selectmen and the council presidents and the governors and the congressmen and the senators we had great news. We were giving them an economic opportunity by closing their base. And yet, that's truly the situation we're in today. I see Warren Tolman, our state senator, and I know the involvement he's had. I see John Arasian, the chairman of the Reuse Committee, and sitting next to him I see Mark Boyle, our development director in Watertown, and know that this town is prepared for the challenge and the opportunities that begin for us today. I see Councilor Daskalakis. I see Vice President of the Council, Paul Denny. I was called by Councilor Kasabian Hoffman, who's teaching school and can't be here, because she feels strongly, as all the members of the council do, that this is an opportunity for Watertown, unlike the almost total devastation that faced us in 1968 when the Board of Selectmen bought the Arsenal property next door and tried to figure out what we were going to do with it. Yes, today we end 179 years of tradition. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, that's not even half of the age of this community. And yet, we will miss this arsenal. We will miss it because of the friendships. We will miss it because of its personal and military significance. We will miss it because Watertown has always played, since the early days of our republic, a very important part in the history of this country. When I lived in Washington as an assistant to the Secretary of Defense and in other jobs, I was fond of taking people from Watertown who came to visit me to the archives and showing them the milestones that lead to the United States Constitution and Declaration of Independence, that include letters written by the Provincial Congress over here on Mount Auburn Street saying, please send us help and we'll give you a country. And we have responded every time. And we will continue to respond, and please tell the Army or the Secretary of Defense that if you need some of our land for another installation, I bet we can find it. This installation has lived up to a military motto: duty, honor, and country. And on behalf of the Town Council, I would like to read a proclamation and then present it. I think with the permission of General Salomon, I'd like to present it to Major Stiefel, because he is the last commanding officer of this great facility. Whereas since 1816, the Watertown Arsenal and its successor, the Army Research Laboratory, have served the inhabitants of this community, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the United States, and the free world with distinction and honor, and have contributed to the security of the peoples of all nations. And whereas during those 179 years in Watertown, the facility has played a most significant role in the physical, social, and economic history of this community and surrounding areas. And whereas long after the departure of those who have worked in dedication at this facility, advancements in the fields of science and technology will remain significant contributions to American industry. And whereas the United States Army has been working closely with community representatives since announcement of the closure of this historic site, and that cooperation has assisted in the planning for a successful conversion, redevelopment, and environmental restoration of the site. And whereas the citizens of Watertown should pause in their daily activities to pay tribute to the facility, to the nearly 9 generations of American men and women who have given such faithful and dedicated service at the Watertown Arsenal and successor installations. Now there be it resolved that the Town Council of the city known as the Town of Watertown does hereby extend its thanks and appreciation to the United States Army, and does hereby acknowledge the significant contribution made by said United States Army and by thousands of dedicated past and present employees at this historical site by proclaiming Friday, September 29, 1995, as and to be Watertown Arsenal Recognition Day in said city known as the Town of Watertown, and does call upon all residents to commemorate said day in an appropriate manner. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city known as the Town of Watertown to be affixed on this 12th day of September 1995 in the year of American independence, the 219th. And it's signed by Richard E. Mastrangelo, Council President, and it's on behalf of all the Council. And General, with your permission, I will present this to the Major. I have just one more last comment, and this is directed to John Erasian and Mark Boyle. When you're working out the details, see if you can get the sound system. Thank you.
As we mark the final moments of the United States Army Research Laboratory Watertown site, you will witness one of the most beautiful sights in this great country of ours. A sight that occurs every day on every military installation. The peaceful lowering of our nation's colors in a ceremony of pageantry and respect. This afternoon, we will observe the final lowering of the colors of the United States with the Special Honored Detachment from the U.S. Army Soldier Systems Command. In accordance with long-standing custom, the playing of retreat signifies the end of the duty day. On the last musical note of retreat, a cannon will be fired, and To the Colors will be played as the flag is lowered. This afternoon, we celebrate retreat in peace, for we have fought the good fight and won. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the retirement of the colors and remain standing for retreat.
Sound, retreat!
colors to fly over the Watertown site to Major Stiefel for his contributions and leadership while in command. One of the highest honors bestowed upon an American citizen is the official presentation of the flag of the United States. At this time, we will honor past laboratory directors and installation commanders by presenting them with colors that have flown over the Watertown site. Dr. Edward Wright, Director from January 1976 to February 1992. Dr. Gordon Bruggeman, Director from February 1992 to September 1992. Mr. Lawrence Johnson, current Director. Colonel, retired, William Benoit, Commander, from February 1978 to November 1979. Colonel, retired, Donald Kenny, Commander, from August 1987 to November 1989. Colonel, retired, John Kempster, Commander, from August 1985 to June 1987. Major, retired, Melvin Adams, Commander, from December 1989 to February 1992. And Lieutenant Colonel James Naughton, Commander, from March 1992 to December 1993.
Attachment. Up head. Hook. Wide. Hook. Forward. Hook.
this time, General Sullivan and Dr. George Bishop, the last Associate Director of the Materials Directorate, will unveil and present a plaque commemorating the United States Army's 179 years of proud and honorable service at Watertown to Town Council President Mr. Richard Mastrangelo.
Dr. Lyons, on behalf of the grateful town of Watertown, I accept this plaque, and I assure you that the town manager will be directed to report to us locations where it should go. It is truly a lasting and in fact everlasting memorial and testament to the work that has been done here by so many for so long, and we, a grateful town, accept it. Thank you.
By Army tradition, the final bugle call of each day is the playing of taps, signifying that the day is done. As we depart for the final time, we render this salute to all of our fallen comrades and to all of the soldiers and civilians who have passed through the installation's gates. Please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Research Laboratory Watertown site is officially closed and disestablished. Everyone, please remain seated until the official party has departed. Ladies and gentlemen, we request that all former Watertown site employees sign the guest register at the reception area to acknowledge your attendance at today's ceremony. Please join us now for an informal reception behind the commander's quarters.
Yeah, they got a big tent out there. I don't know.
He said he may have to work on quite a weekend. Does he have to work?
I'd like to welcome everybody this evening on a very special night. We're extremely pleased that we're here this evening and very happy that you all could make it with us. It is a very important evening for the town. We're here to dedicate this wonderful new asset for the community. We have a lot of people to recognize and thank this evening. So, and then I'm anxious to have everybody go inside and see how the interior of the place looks. I hope you like the exterior. As you know, the town acquired this property from the Army and the National Park Service last August. And if some of you remember the day, it was, as I said before, about 98 degrees in the shade. It's a little cooler this evening. When we woke up this morning, we were a little nervous with the rain, but as you can see, it's clear. Now, it didn't clear for the All-Star game. It cleared for our ceremony this evening. So we're certainly pleased about that. I'd like to first introduce Clyde Younger, the council president for the town of Watertown, and he'd like to make some remarks opening this evening. Clyde?
Thank you very much. I know that if you have trouble hearing me, I know initially you had trouble hearing Mark, and I will speak up if you can't hear me, so just raise your hand in the back if you can't. I know you can hear me, Al. But as Mark kind of stole my thunder, I was going to talk about how this morning started out very dreary. We had a little drizzle. We were worried about how today was going to turn out, and how could we ask for a better evening to have the ribbon cutting ceremony here at the Commander's Mansion. On behalf of the town of Watertown and the town council, I want to welcome everyone to this special event. This evening it is with great pleasure and excitement that we dedicate this historic building. The property, including the 7 acres of open space, will be important as an asset to the community and the quality of life for its residents. I want to digress a moment just to identify some of the councilors and other elected officials that are here in attendance. We have Councilor Fred Pugilis. And Fred, I went there. Councilor Sandra Kasabian Hoffman. Councilor John Ports. Councilor Sal Ciccarelli. It's my understanding that Councilor Steve Romanelli is out of town, as well as Councilor Paul Denning. But we do have in attendance this evening Representative Rachel Caprillion. I saw that I think State Senator Stephen Tolman, did he not come in? All right. And we also have the legislative aide to Congressman John Capiano Linacek. I should say Mike Capiano. John Capiano. I also want to thank take this opportunity to thank the companies that are going to be coming to Watertown to have as their new homes. And among those companies so far include Harvard Business School of Publishing, Vapson United, ThingWorld.com, Bright Horizons Daycare, and of course Arthur D. Little. At this time, I also want to thank and recognize a person that was principally responsible for having this all occur, other than, of course, our chairman of the Watertown Arsenal Development Corporation, Mr. John Arazian, but Mr. Brian O'Neill, who has been so instrumental in helping this community. I know that he will continue his efforts to make this a complete success, and I know that all of us wish him every success possible in his other endeavors as well. Thank you,
Brian. At this time, I'd like to recognize Mike Driscoll, the town manager for Watertown. Mike?
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure coming to an event where everyone is smiling. I'd like to take an opportunity for some of the people in the audience that may not know about this wonderful building behind us. It was called Quarters 111, and it was constructed in 1865 by commanding officer of the Watertown Arsenal, Major Thomas J. Rodman, at a cost in 1865 of $63,500. It consists of 12,000 square feet of floor space and contains 27 rooms. So when you see it tonight, you can think of $63,500 back in 1865. I'd like to follow up on the Honorable Council President Younger's comments and Mr. Boyle's comments, and thank everyone who came here tonight, and also thanking a lot of the people who made this responsible. And I'd like to start with the Honorable Town Council, who their continued support of the project from at the very beginning, endorsing the Arsenal reuse plan to acquire the property for public reuse, the adoption of the Home Rule petition, which allowed us to establish the Arsenal Development Corporation, and as recently as establishing the opportunity for us to have a revolving fund so that we can operate the wonderful facility behind here, and we're certainly going to invite everyone to come and utilize the facility as we move forward. Additionally, the Town Council had appropriated $100,000 to help in the restoration and the renovations of the Commander's Mansion. The next acknowledgement and thank you I would like to is to the members. Mr. Council President Younger had cited the gentleman to my far right, the chairman of the Watertown Arsenal Development Corporation, Mr. Eurasian, as well as several members of the Arsenal Development Corporation who are here this evening. I think Council President Younger mentioned the Vice President Ciccarelli, Councilors Hoffman and Ports who are on the Arsenal Development Corporation. I know Mr. DeVico is here, Mr. Jim Bean is here, other members, Allison Condiff is here, I'm going to cite Roberta Miller is here, or is here in spirit. Who else am I missing? Jim McDermott is here. Is not here, but I'd like to thank all of them for their vision and their long-term efforts to recommend the acquisition and the preservation of this mansion, as well as the 7 acres of open space around us. 2 years ago, last month, it gave all the Arsenal Development Corporation members a delivery of charge. And I stated, try not to put undue financial burden and risk on the town while acknowledging some risk in taking on a multi-million-dollar real estate project. Last August, as you recall, Mark alluded to, the United States Army conveyed the 30-acre parcel to the Arsenal Development Corporation, and subsequent they sold the property to the gentleman to my immediate left. And lastly, the Arsenal Development Corporation has also voted to transfer $210,000 in gift proceeds to help with the restoration and the renovations of the building immediately behind me. The next acknowledgement and thank you I would like to and echoing Council President Younger's comments, the gentleman to my immediate left is Brian O'Neill and O'Neill Properties, who also helped by not putting undue financial burden or risk on the town in developing the site, and as well as the very, very generous $955,000 contribution to the renovation and restoration of the Commander's Mansion. Once again, Brian, I want to thank you on behalf of the community. And I will speak as quickly as possible because Brian just invited me to the All-Star game. Somebody's not going. But my last three thank yous, and I'll move as quickly as possible. I certainly want to acknowledge and thank the members of the Watertown Historical and Conservation Commissions for their continued efforts, continue advocating and providing assistance on this wonderful project. Additionally, I want to acknowledge and thank the Massachusetts Historic Commission, the Assistant Director, Elsie Fitzgerald, who I think is here tonight, Mark?
I didn't see her, and Kim Conrad.
And Kim Conrad, the project manager, for their financial with a $120,000 grant from the Massachusetts.
Oh, there's Kim right there, yeah.
Is Kim?
There's Kim right there.
Okay, good.